All right, it's that time for another rating review and comparison, little breakdown video for you guys today. As you saw at the top of the page, NWO sale is going to be later today at 1 p.m. So that video will come out for y'all tomorrow because I have a live stream today, so I won't be able to freaking do a video for the NWO sale today. I would be able to if I was like not dealing with the situation that I'm in, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the topic of discussion with the D1 Arkema. Start things off with OL, the perennial queens of the league. Parello left Barcelona for OL, and she got a +3. So she's a +1 to her pace, a +1 to her passing, a +2 to her dribbling, and a +1 to her physical. Some had a decent year last year. I wouldn't say 84 to 87 top kind of year. It was the kind of year it was like, all right, if she was like an 85 or 86, it'd be like, okay, cool. 87, I feel like it's a big jump for the kind of year she had. Like, yeah, she was kind of like on or off because of injury. She was a rotational player more so than like an actual starter. Like I said before, when it came to the top women players, that Barcelona has a very, very strong front forward. So whether you're playing a left, right, middle, or a cam for Barcelona, there's a rotation there. The only person who was kind of like guaranteed to be a starter was, Patry as a pivot, as a DM, and Aitana when it came to her not being hurt. Everywhere else, though, was more of a rotation. You had, you have Esme who plays a left back or as a left winger. You had Kika who plays a midfielder or plays as a forward. You had Palerello, you had Pina, you had Sydney who also plays a cam or CM. Like there's a lot going on for Barcelona, so to where Parello wasn't guaranteed to be, getting a lot of play time even when she was healthy. So in general, when she did play, she was I won't say a key component to the success of the team, but she was having a decent season, not a great season, but a decent season, enough to say that I do think she should get upgraded to be like 85 or 86. And 87 to me is a little too high for someone who didn't really start. I feel like it's just tax because she went to OL as well as sound like she's popular. And for a long time when it came to like EA, they kind of was like not giving her the kind of cards that she deserved. Tabitha Chawinga, she kind of has similar stats to Salma, same amount of pace, other than like +1 there. Similar kind of shooting, again +1 there, but in the same ballpark. Worse passing, +1 dribbling, worse defending, a little bit of physical. Like they're kind of identical cards. Like you're pinching pennies when it comes to like comparing them, who's different, who's better. We do know in game that Chawinga tends to be absolutely insane. Someone's pretty good in game too, but Chawinga is usually insane because of her size. So she's like very, very fast, but also very large. So she's hard to stop in game. Basha got an upgrade. I don't know. I wouldn't say Basha deserves an upgrade. I wouldn't say she deserves a downgrade. Like if she was an 85 still, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Like I wouldn't say she's someone who deserves to get moved up or moved down when it comes down to it, because like kind of season that she had. But also I'm not like, angry that she got an upgrade, like, right? So it's like it's just one of the things where it's like whatever. Caroline Weir, I wouldn't say she had like a great season to get upgrade. I think 85 for her is fine. Much like Basha, it's one of the things where it's like if she stayed at 85, wouldn't be mad at it. Katoto, the often insulted by EA player. She won the golden boot during the Olympics. EA didn't even care, didn't give her a card or nothing. When you like a mention of that she won the golden boot during the Olympics last year. And a lot of y'all watch this video not even sure she won the golden boot for the Olympics. Like that's just the reality of her career. She does good things and just get ignored. So EA here is giving her a -2, taking away some pace, taking away some shooting, taking away some dribbling, but giving her +1 to her physical. I feel like going down +2 is a lot. I said before that EA likes to do like a plus minus when it comes to how many 88s are in the game, how many 89s are in the game. So if someone else becomes an 88, they want to knock someone else down to like replace that, to compensate for it. Maybe because Toto's one of those players who had to get knocked down to compensate for have like a certain total number of 88s. But I feel like an 87 would have been fair. Ada, that's a fair downgrade. 87 to 85, that's a fair downgrade. No complaints there. Clara Mateo, no changes at all. Much like a Toto, she's one of those players who just gets ignored when it comes to EA. She should be like 87 or 88 in this game. Like just like the last 2 years in general, she should be 88 or 87. I feel like because she played some Paris FC, We don't see her, in a more prominent like facet of the game because they're not a successful team. And if they're not successful, then the thought process there is you can't make this player an 88 when they play for a team that's not, you know, popping off like that, right? But she should be higher, in my opinion. If you just watch her play, see her statistics and things like that, and you just know about Clara Mateo, like, yeah, she deserves to be like at least at worst an 87. Moving on to Endler, she's been knocked down to an 85. I kind of feel like she did have like a rough year last year, to be honest with you, so that is kind of fair. When I watched her games, and especially when it came to like the UCL, I wasn't really impressed by Endler. She definitely was having like a rough season. So I'm okay with the downgrade. Renard keeps being downgraded. She has like no pace now. Like the thought with Renard is that she's like the woman's version of VPD because of her size. But with that amount of pace, it's an unusable card. Like you can say what you want about anything else, but when it comes to like the actual video game itself, we all know pace is king, especially when it comes to your defense. Her having 48 pace means that you won't ever care to use a Renard card until probably May. Like we're thinking like a May promo is when she probably have like a usable card. In terms of if she deserves a downgrade, like she had an okay year. She didn't really play for France during the Euros because reasons. People were confused on why she didn't get called up to begin with. People feel like she was a snub. She's a very important player for OL, and I do feel like she was missed when she wasn't playing for France. But neither here nor there. I feel like 85, 84, you don't really care all that much between those two ratings. Ingrid Ingen, no change there for her. Stays exactly the same, other than +1 to her physical. It's fair. Eula Brand got a +1. They gave her a +1 her passing, a +1 her dribbling. That's about it. For those who want some tips for 27 because like squad building, that's one player who you should look into for like Evos because she's tall and she's fast. And also just in general, she's very good at game too. Damaris stays the same. No change of losing some dribbling. Honestly, if they made her like 82, I'd say that was fair. But I feel like because she plays with OL, she gets to like stay 84. Mbach, she's okay. IRL, 83 is fine. Romy, it's a fair upgrade. She had a very, very good year. So I think it's fair upgrade for her to go from 79 to 83. Ashley got knocked down by 1. Not against it. She get a +1 her pace though, so there's that. Olga, her leaving Real Madrid to PSG kind of feel like they didn't do for her what people would hoped. I feel like her going to PSG from Real Madrid was kind of similar to like Crystal Dunn going to PSG. It was like she went there and then nothing else happened. I kind of feel like there was no real presence of Olga IRL for PSG, and because of that, I feel like EA is like, yeah, we didn't see presence either, so we can knock her down a grade. So she loses some pace, loses some passing, and not pace, she loses some defense, loses some physical. Still a good starter card if you're building a team that you want some pace on, because 87 pace is still good. Betcho, I feel like going to like 81 would be more fair for her. Kogo, no change. Joanna Kennard, no change as well. She got a +6 to her pace and a +2 to her dribbling and a +1, but she still hasn't really changed her rating. So they gave her like actual stat boost, but didn't change her rating. She's out for the year with a ACL injury, so won't see any promo cards unless they just give her one, Garbino, she had a decent year. I think a +1's fine. Chivas, kind of situation when it comes to like Garbino, it's like it's an okay year. 78 to 82, that's fine. Malween, they gave her a decent amount of pace. I feel like okay, I'm thinking of somebody else when it comes to like positioning. Yeah, it's a fine upgrade. Jackie, no real change. They gave her +1 to her physical. Other than that, no real change. Paulina, no relation to the other dudek. So if you're ever curious about people who have similar names, she's not related to the other dudek. No real change here from her other than losing some pace and gaining some physical. But stays 81. On to the next page, we have the women's squad from the Italian league. Did they even call the? I've only watched like Roma. Like I don't watch the other like in other leagues that we talk about. I watch every NWSL team. I watch every team for Arkema. I only watch Roma for the women's team for Serie A. I only watch Wolfsburg for the France Women's Liga, and I watch United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and City, in London City for WSL. Not even a fan of those teams, but just saying that's what I watch. So my knowledge on like some of these players who are like just outright have always been part of the women's Serie A. I won't have as much knowledge about them as I do for the other players, unless they play for Roma. Chiba, on the other hand, I do know about her. She's pretty solid. No upgrade for her though. Patino was pretty mediocre at Atletico, so no upgrade for her. Scroll up here a little bit so you can actually see if there's any other changes. But Leah, no changes for her. So I feel like a lot of these for the women's Serie A won't have like much changes because that league doesn't really do much. It's basically like it's not a good league, to be honest with you. Martina, no change. The other Martina also no change. Estella got a +1. Is it deserved? Not really. It doesn't really matter. Cecilia, no change. Barbara went down 1. Alba Ronaldo went down 1. Redondo played Real Madrid. She was okay at Real Madrid last year, not great. Real Madrid is just it's a long story when it comes to that team. But she moved on to Juventus. I think she might pop off, but again, it's a weaker league, which is funny to say because Liga F is a weak league itself. Other than Barcelona, Liga F is a very, very weak league, and this league's weaker than that league. So Alba should have a better year. All right, continuing on, we got the Roma ladies. Baldi is going to a 75. I feel like that's a fair upgrade. It's nothing crazy, nothing like anything special, but 75 is a +2. Oladipo, that's a big upgrade. It's a +10. I think it's fair. It's fair. Aaliyah to a 76. I feel like Aaliyah should be like maybe an 80. I feel like a fair grade for Aaliyah would be an 80. Jorgensen, she gets a +4. It's okay. Not really annoyed with it. Babajide is one of them players who literally, if she went to any other team, like a different league, might be like in a way better standing in a sport. But going to Roma, she kind of like took a step back in her career. So I feel like this is a fair downgrade. Valentina got a +2. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Then the last of the women's Serie A, then we'll get into the Liga F in a second. That'll be a separate video, by the way. Gaeta Grigi lost 1, and Manuela stays the same. Yeah, nothing to say when it comes to that. Just it's all fine. But yeah, so that's the recent ones when it comes to women's Serie A and the D1 league. Next up we have the NWSL, and we'll have the Liga F. We'll do Liga F first. We'll do that right now. We'll record it. Then Barcelona, NWSL will be after that. So both of those videos probably be up tomorrow. Probably have them come up an hour apart. So I'm out of here. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Y'all stay safe. And we come to another. I'm talking for a while, so my voice is getting a little dry. Yeah, have a good rest of your day. I'm out. Deuces.